Back now on Classic Hits KWNG 106, another edition of Get Real with Real Estate. Jameson Melbye joining me from RE/MAX Results. I'm Mark O'Connor, joined by Jameson Melbye. Jameson, it's the first time I'm doing the show with you today. Glad to be along with you. Glad to meet you, and looking forward to having some fun.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
I know we're doing this live on Facebook, but I forgot to plug your microphone in there, so glad to have you along, Jameson, once again. Thanks for being a part of the show, and thanks for coming in and letting me fill in for Jack. There, now we got your microphone on.
All right, that works.
Number one rule of radio: have the microphone on. So.
Right. We need the audio for radio. Right?
That's right. Jameson, thanks for being a part of the coming in and doing this. Let's get right into it. Program 17, the first time home or the first time buyers show. Why should someone buy their first home?
Well, there's many reasons why somebody should buy. Most often people want to move out of the house. They want their own space away from the parents, which is totally understandable. And the big question is, why would you rent if you can buy and build equity? Typically what I've seen with myself, with friends, we end up renting 5, 10, sometimes 15 years after we move out of the house, and that just doesn't make sense financially when you could have been building equity for 10 years, 15 years on a house.
And typically that rent is pretty close or equal to, or even more than a mortgage would be.
Yeah, more, definitely. So if somebody buys a house for $100,000, let's say, their payment will be around $600 a month. Versus if they're renting that house, they're going to pay $800, $900 a month. And again, they're not gaining equity. They're not getting tax benefits from that. So,
for those people that are getting ready to buy their house, maybe someone in college, what can they do to prepare to buy a home?
Well, if somebody's in college, a good thing is to start saving money. And I know when you're on a budget, that sounds like a really tall order, but even 10% of the income you're bringing in, over time, let's say you start when you are in college, 10%, that's going to build up. And then now you'll have money for a down payment when it comes time to buy the house. So that's a really good thing to do.
Now, if someone wants to buy their first house, what are some of the first steps they should take, the correct steps they should take?
Well, one thing is you can do this, the first two steps are kind of interchangeable. So you can either meet with a realtor first or meet with a loan officer, but those are really the first two steps. A realtor can give you a idea of what the process is, what you have to do. And really a loan officer is going to pull your credit, look at your financials, make sure this is something you can do financially, and then you can talk about what are you comfortable paying per month for this. So again, meet with a realtor, meet with a loan officer. Those are the first two steps. And kind of to get back in that college question, it just sparked a thought here. You should also be working on your credit score during that time period. When you're 18, you typically don't have a score, so it's a good chance to build credit. Get maybe 1 or 2 small secured credit cards, put $20 or $30 on per month, pay that off, and then by the time you're done with college, you get that job you're looking for. Now you'll have credit built up. So those are all good things to do as far as steps to take.
Once you find the right home, what you do now?
Okay, so once you're pre-approved, we'll find you the right house. Then at that point, that's when you want to make an offer on the property. You want to negotiate the terms that are favorable for you, and then get your home inspection done. We always recommend home inspections to get those done. And then after the home inspection is done, you're comfortable with the house, you feel it's a healthy, safe house, something that's not going to be a money pit for you, then they have the appraisal done, title work gets done after that point, and then you close. And the day you close, you get to move in that house. So it's a good day when you close.
It's a very good day. I got to experience that very recently, and it was a very cool day. So I know the feeling.
Awesome.
Part 2 of Get Real with Real Estate coming up with Jameson Melbye in just a bit. Jameson Melbye from RE/MAX Results here on KWNG 106.
All right. Not bad for first half, huh?
Yeah. Tell
right.
me. Make sure I plug your microphone in
the
right spot. So
work the kinks out, right?
All right. So we're still live on Facebook, right?
We are.
Okay.
We are live. Yep.
So we'll just jump right into it. Does that work with you?
Well, yeah, perfect.
All right. Here we go. We get to part 2 of Get Real with Real Estate. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Up now for part 2 of Get Real with Real Estate here on KWNG 106. I'm Mark O'Connor along with Jameson Melbye from RE/MAX Results. Jameson, what loan options does the first-time home buyer have?
The first-time home buyer has many options. The best one that we see in Red Wing is the USDA Rural Development Loan. If you're looking in Hastings, that loan does not apply in Hastings because the population is too great. So that loan is for the smaller communities, and we're considered rural, believe it or not. So that loan program works here. That's a zero down conventional loan product, has great interest rates. So that's a really good loan to go through. Now, let's say you have credit that's a little bit iffy, your debt to income ratio is a little bit off, then we can look at the FHA, which is a 3.5% down payment that is. So that's where you will need some money out of pocket to close for a down payment. And then there's other options, 5% conventional. Now, let's say somebody is the fiscally responsible college student that saved the 10% during their 4 years there, they built up their credit. They might have 20% down saved for a house. Now they're avoiding private mortgage insurance, which is a really good thing, because unless you're putting 20% down, you know, $100, $200 a month is going to be going towards that mortgage insurance, which you could avoid if you did a 20% down payment. So there's tons of loan programs out there. Those are the typical loan programs that we see.
That down payment can be kind of a scary thing. Is there any help out there for that down payment?
There is, yeah. Honestly, I've hardly had to deal with this because, again, Red Wing has that zero down program with really good interest rates. But if you're in, let's say, Hastings, some of those bigger communities, and you have to do an FHA or a conventional program, there are different programs that offer down payment assistance. Some of those need to be repaid down the road when you sell your house. There's a lot of them that don't have to be repaid. It's kind of a grant. So the loan officers you work with, they pull your credit again, look at your financial situation. They can tell you, okay, you don't have money. Well, here are your options, or you do have money, here are your options. So there are down payment assistance programs out there, which are really great.
How much money should we have saved up for a first-time home buyer before you buy?
Right. Well, the more money, the better, definitely. I mean, if somebody could save 20%, that is phenomenal. I do see that occasionally where somebody has that, but the bare minimum I'm saying now, what you would need would be about $1,500 to $2,000, and that's if you were doing, let's say, the USDA program, zero down, so you don't have a down payment. Then you would have your earnest money, $500 to $1,000 earnest money, $350 for an inspection, and then you have $500 for an appraisal. So $1,500 to $2,000 really is enough money to get you in a house right now in Red Wing, zero down. Now, let's say you're going to go rent a house for $1,000 a month. You're going to have first month's rent and deposit due before you move in, so that's $2,000. Some landlords want the last month's rent. Now you're putting down $3,000, and you're not gaining equity. You're paying more per month. So I always tell people that it makes sense to buy with a zero down loan than rent.
For a first-time home buyer, it can be kind of scary going into the process, and typically the people we trust most are our parents.
Right.
Should we bring mom and dad with to some showings?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good idea, and that's one question I ask people when we first meet for the consult is, are mom and dad going to be part of the decision-making process? Because if they're not, if they don't live around here, that's fine. But if they are part of the decision-making process, one of my requirements is that they come with for all of the showings, because what we don't want to have happen is, let's say you're looking at a price range of $100,000 to $130,000. We've looked at every house in the price range. We found the best house for the money, and then mom and dad come along and pick this house apart and say, well, this is garbage, right? Well, they haven't seen the other 15 houses that we went through to get to this one. And a first-time home buyer simply doesn't have a lot of money to spend usually. And so that gets to be an aggravating process. So I want mom and dad to come with on every showing, and then they can see what we're looking at and then see what the best house is in the price range.
On that same line, Jameson, something I've read or heard recently about trying to fill your house with things that when you first move in, because you want to have all the same things that like your parents have in their house, things that you grew up with.
Right.
But you have to realize that it took them that long. It took them a long time to get to the house the way they have it. whether it be looking good, sound and safe house, and things built the way they want, maybe some reconstruction. So you can't have all those things right away. You can have them down the line, just not right away.
Well, right, and that's part of the thing is that sometimes I have to pull mom and dad aside and say, listen, your child has only been approved to $140,000. I understand you live in a house that's $600,000. Okay, remember back when you bought your first house, what was that like? So let's make them not feel terrible about the purchase they're making, and it's a big deal buying a house, and you want them to be excited about the house they're buying. And mom and dad, when they're 65 years old, they'll probably have bought and sold 2-3 houses by that point. They'll have more money, secure jobs, and then they'll be in a house like you. But that's not going to happen when they're 23 years old, for instance.
So who would be a good agent for a first-time home buyer to talk to before buying?
This guy,
that guy,
right here,
right.
This guy. So during the recession, I started selling real estate in 2007. And if you know how the market went, 2008, there was like this downward spiral. You could hear the plane and then a big crash. Well, I sold a lot of real estate during the recession because I focused on buyers. And during that market, it was a phenomenal time for buyers. We could take all the time in the world we wanted to. We could lowball houses. It was kind of a fun time period. Not fun for sellers, definitely fun for buyers. And that's how I made my living for the first, I'd say, 5 to 8 years. Was solely on buyers and primarily first-time home buyers. And then once the market started turning, then of course I focused on sellers, and a lot of business now these days is from sellers, but I still love working with those first-time home buyers. That's the fun stuff there.
Jameson, before we go, if someone wants, maybe a first-time home buyer out there, wants more information, wants to reach out to you and maybe start the ball rolling, or even a prospective college student that wants some advice about becoming a first-time home buyer, how did they reach you?
So the best place to find me is, there's several places, but if you go online and you type in melbyrealestateexperts.com, that brings you to my website. There's a lot of good information there, blog posts, things like that. And then you can find me on Facebook. If you're a first-time home buyer, you know what Facebook is. You're on there. We record this live also on Facebook, so you can watch this. If you're hearing it on the radio, you can watch us on Facebook. But Remax Results, Jameson Melbye Real Estate. I have tons of information on there. All of my past shows are recorded. We have other, information on there, houses for sale, places to search, things like that. So. And then my cell phone is 651-764-8933.
Yeah, I think you just blew some people's minds. We're live on Facebook, recorded on the radio, on the internet, recorded as well.
And Bo Brewer with KWNG here has a blog where these, or vlog or whatever it's called, with the MP3s, podcast, whatever you want to call it. So many ways to listen to Get Real with Real Estate.
All right, definitely. Jameson, thanks a lot, and thanks for letting me step in and fill in for Jack.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
That's Jameson Melbye from Remax Results here in Red Wing. That'll be it for this week's edition of Get Real with Real Estate here with Jameson Melbye from Remax Results.
All right.
Perfect.
Cool.
Good stuff.